before the mountain, bringing wanderers but to the moon. When I take my vacation in heaven, what a wonderful time that will be. Hearing concerts by heaven record, and the face of my Savior I see. Sitting down by the banks of the river, neath the shade of the evergreen tree, I shall rest from my burdens forever. Won't you spend your vacation with me? Now someday I shall take my vacation to the cities of Texas with its foundation walls so gracious, where from gladness of heart I shall shout. For the sights ever witnessed by mortal can compare with the glories out there. I shall spend my vacation with Jesus in the place He went on to prepare. When I take my vacation in heaven, what a wonderful time that will be. Hearing concerts by heavenly choir, and the face of my Savior I see. Sitting down by the banks of the river, in the shade of the evergreen tree, I shall rest from my burdens forever. Won't you spend your vacation with me? The weather will always be perfect. Not a cloud shall sweep over the sky, and the pathways of cyclones shall turn in the land of the sweet I am God. From the going to the I am poor for a lighting there. Oh, you are invited to share my vacation, and the feast with the bridegroom to share. Oh, when I take my vacation in heaven, what a wonderful time that will be. Hearing concerts by the heaven sitting down by the consoling in the shade of the evergreen tree, I shall rest from my burdens forever. Won't you spend your vacation with me? I want you to look at the lyrics of the song. Take a vacation. Return to your homes by and by. When I take my vacation in heaven, in those mansions of gold in the sky, oh, I shall dwell in my Savior forever. Oh, with his heavenly throne, all the days will be long on vacation. When my Savior takes me to his throne, when I take my vacation in heaven, what a wonderful time that will be. There it calls us by heavenly throne, at the face of my Savior I see. Oh, sitting down by the banks of the river, oh, in the shade of the evergreen tree, I shall rest from my burdens forever. Would you spend your vacation with me? Lord, Lord of this fine day, spend my vacation. It will be one time, one long when all the burdens will be carried. Yes, it will be all done. Father, Amen. May it be that we wipe tears of your cry. Yes, Lord. Heavenly Father, help each and every one of us here. Even as we go to those songs, those wonderful words that you have put in those songs. And something that is glorious that you have mind. Heavenly Father, yet us out of the way. Even as we go on to one another, we invite one to be coming to share one, go to us. Heavenly Father, let us remember that you are prepared. And the Bible says that the bride has prepared, servant has prepared. Help me, help that person, help this sister, help the other brother to be on that now. Father, we thank you, we honor your name. Yes. Amen. God bless you. I want to welcome you once again to the second session. Okay. We can sing one more song, and this song is one that we shall welcome the minister. This song I know it is still song number 62. We are told that yesterday, today, and forever, Jesus is the same. And may the Lord help us that when we are singing this song, that we were taught, the pastor said the other time, there is looking and there is seeing. May we see the song. May God help us. love to save the sick, heal the sick and live, cheer the poor, heal the dead. Don't whether they are both smart, you can go together. If you have your phone, you go and get it, you can start. When number 62, you can key in number 62 in your phone. Oh, how sweet and gloriousness is simple faith and claim. Yesterday, today, forever, Jesus is the same. Still he loves to save the sinner, heal the sick and lame. Cheer them all and still the tempest, glory to his name. Oh, yesterday, today, forever, Jesus is the same. All may change, but Jesus never. Glory to his name. Glory to his name. Glory to his name. All may change, but Jesus never. Glory to his name. He who was the friend of sinners, he lost one now. Sinners come and run his crucial pain. Till he comes. He who said, I'm not condemned, go and sin no more. Speaks to thee a word of paradise, days of God. Yesterday, today, forever, Jesus is the same. God may change, but Jesus never. Glory to his name. Glory to his name. Oh, glory to his name. All may change, but Jesus never. Glory to his name. All the mighty heal the sound by his mighty arm. Feel our sickness and the sorrow at his command. He who gave his healing passion to our woman's blood. To the pain that takes his goodness, he has done. Oh, yesterday, today, forever, Jesus is the same. God may change, but Jesus never. Glory to his name. Glory to his name. Oh, glory to his name. God may change, but Jesus never. Glory to his name. He who pardons everything, never need no fear. He has been to take the storm, love you here. He who led the darkness side, for his bosom there. He is still with our strength, upon his breath. Oh, yesterday, today, forever, Jesus is the same. God may change, but Jesus never. Glory to his name. Oh, glory to his name. Yes, glory to his name. God may change, but Jesus never. Glory to his name. Oh, he who made the raging waves, walked upon the sea, and ash of endless tempest, past the cloudy day. He who wept and prayed now, in Gethsemane, drinks with us his cup of trembling in our agony. Oh, yesterday, today, forever, oh, Jesus is the same. God may change, but Jesus never. Glory to his name. Oh, glory to his name. Yes, glory to his name. All may change, but Jesus never. Glory to his name. So we are still for everyone. We are still just to bring it one back. Where we have come from. Where we are. So the writer of this one says, if you seem to have an interest in someone of the opposite gender or the opposite sex, I have an announcement for you. Have experience. No more. This an maybe. It is okay to have an interest in the past
want to put on 1/7. You can. I think you understand. So the prophet says, Maisha mwanadamu na ataikutenda. Which also was worrying the documentation because it said, so the past 7 years, you are talking about that. You remember yourself when that time, the third, I remember saying last time that at this stage you don't even know the difference between a boy and a girl. Why not for the organs? I'm looking for diplomatic words to use. Let's seen as a thing, right? So what do I know about biology? This what is really so the only difference at this stage, the only difference they realize is that the organs they use to their different. You get the point? So right now my children are eating. So the boy and the guy. So the guy keeps looking at the boy and wondering, why am I not like you? Like what is this protruding that I don't have? But if you ask them beyond there, they don't realize why they are different. Do they? I mean, they will say, I'm a boy, you are a girl. Just because they are seeing that difference, they are seeing the difference in the way you are clothing them. You have also told them that you are a boy and you are a girl. You should not shave and you should shave. You become a But in reality, they don't know, sexually, they don't know anything. Like I told you last time, they don't know that those organs have other uses. And they also don't know that they are naked. Or they don't see nakedness as a problem. Sasa tunakibianga tukiwa uchi. Amen? Hata kanaweza nikibiriria kanikuta kwa barabara na hakana kitu na hakaoni shida na hakana shida na actually hakuna shida juu ni mtoto sio. Akishafika hii age anaanza kurealize it's more than that. Being a girl, being a boy are more than that, isn't it? Na unaanza kuona watoto hata wanajisegregate, sio? So kama ni msichana sasa hatutaki kukaa na boys, right? So hata kama walikuwa so close, kanaanza kurealize me am a girl, I shouldn't be playing with boys. Me am a boy, I should not be playing with girls. So unaona kunaanza kuwa na segregation. Hata kama wako shule wakicheza wanaanza kusegregate because they are now starting recognizing, realizing we are different. These are girls, these are boys. But again, beyond there, their feelings have not been like awakened. So they are in that. As they come here, it is a transition in age. Transitioning meaning now, they fully realize I'm a boy. And I'm a boy because, and it is here also, the body, like I was saying last time, first of all, the body starts changing. Now, the changes now are very clear. But as time goes by then, the person clearly identifies this is a boy, this is a hata ukiwa nje aongee. Kama sivyo, wakiwa watoto hii chikine waongee, wote wanaongea soprano, sio? Lakini wakifika hiyo hiyo wakiongea, you can clearly tell it's a man talking, that's a woman talking. But again, it is a nature of transition because it's when you are moving yourself, you are moving from, the body is going a transition from childhood to adulthood. So a lot of changes are happening in the person. And it is this age also Right from about 40 or so, it is this age also, you start getting attracted to people of the opposite. Sure. You feel you want, if you're a boy, you feel you are enjoying the company of girls. If you're a girl, you feel you're enjoying the company of boys. And that's where the writer is saying, you're perfectly normal. It is okay. So what happens? Because your parents do not want you to start going to have fellowship with the opposite sex, they tell you it is evil, it is demonic, it is satanic. Kweli. Na hata mzazi akikuona umesimama na kijana anakuwa mkali sana. Ndio. Because he's worried. Mzazi anakuwa worried that you may be misled. And if you are a girl, the parent is also worried that you may be cheated and pregnant and things that you don't want. So, having interest in the opposite sex, perfectly no. It is okay. It is the natural thing to happen. Then, the question then becomes, how do we relate with the opposite in a Christian way without going beyond boundaries? Because it's normal to relate, then we ask ourselves, how do we relate in this normal way without going beyond the boundary? Because normal for this, and it should be allowed. Life should be allowed to take its course. Like I said, you cannot jump a stage. You can only go through it. And if you jump it, you are, someone said, you're done, but you cannot prevent the river from flowing. You know your point? You can build a dam to dam the river. You say, you dam your feelings, but the river still continues flowing upstream. What happens after some time? You break the dam, isn't it? Na hivyo ulikuwa unaona shida na watu wengi. Kama wazazi wamekukazia kabisa, you are told at home, you should not talk to boys, you should not be around boys, you should not do, you should not do. Hao watu wanagojeanga ile time atapata freedom. Ile time atapata akishapata freedom, and a behave like a calf that has been let out of the calf pen. Ushaona ng'ombe za zero grazing, alafu ziachiliwe the way they dance. Ata behave like that because some feelings were done, some things that should have been let to happen were prevented. They never moved away. They were just bottomed down. You bottom up feelings. Like you unaweza weka chupa pressure, alafu umefunga. Pressure ina build. Ile time utafungua it will be like. So you will be in the going out. And the answer on how do without going wayward, because it is normal and it is a stage. Beyond there, you come to this. Now, at 21, you have moved from the transitional stage. You are to what we call young adulthood. And in this stage, is a stage of decision making. It's a stage of choosing, making decisions. You are choosing a career, you are choosing a life partner, you are choosing many things. Beyond 21 to 28, for majority of the people, it's not for everyone, right? Because there are extremes. If a person at this age comes with a girl home. As you are the father. How will you sort it out? Is it likely to go well? Akwambie eti na mtu ako say 1918 na alete at home say daddy, this is a girlfriend, I've talked, we have agreed, get married. Does it sound alright? It may be too young for this person to be able to make that decision. I mean, he is in a transition. He doesn't even understand all things, right? So he is attracted, the feelings are there, but he has not matured. So why it is even called teenage. It is called teenage. Words like adolescents are used. He is not an adult. To become an adult at 21. We have some who are not adults. So you become an adult at 21. Now, if you make a decision beyond there, it should be taken seriously. If you are 25, if you are 26, if you are 27, if you are 28, come with a girl, with a boy home. You are a mature person, right? And whatever decision you make here, it should be acceptable guidance, isn't it? So it is an age of making decisions. You make a decision on the career. From 21 to 28, you begin change. Naweza anza na kusema I want to be a teacher, na hata unasomea teaching, but finally you end up in the bank. Ndio. Naweza enda usomea ICT. Finally you end up teaching. Naweza fanya many things. Naweza sema uenda usomea hata doctor and you end up as a business. You are making decisions and you can change. If you think this is right, tomorrow you think the other one is right, you are making a decision. From 29 to 35, the need of settling down. Settling down means the decision you have made here, you pursue it, right? You are pursuing your decision. Now, if here you decided on who your life partner will be, you are now settling down. Amen? If you decided on the career to pursue, you have now settled and you are pursuing. If you select someone now for 34, and you are changing career, that person accordate. Ndio. Hii miaka yote amekuwa mwalimu. Then at 34 suddenly anasema anataka kuwa clinician. Huyo mtu amepoteza miaka. Get the point? Hii experience yote again kwa teaching inapotelea. So it is an age of settling down. Settling down means you have what you chose to pursue, now you are pursuing it. The person you chose to settle down with, now you are settling down. Whatever you decided to do in life, now you are pursuing it. It is an age of settling down. Beyond 35, people are settled down. They are just moving on with life. Hear the point. And you unakutaka mtu wako beyond 35, even to change their mind it is hard. They are rude. So they decided, kama mtu aliamua biashara, yeye ni mwanabiashara. Hata ukikuja umwambie uzuri wa kazi na umwambie how many millions you can get through job, hata change. Kama mtu aliajiriwa, you pursue that line. If you pick that age and you are changing and you are doing, and you are thinking of going to business, you may not make a good business. Get the point? If you are thinking at that age that it is when you are going to become a farmer, you may not become a very good farmer. Pursue the line that you have taken. After that, you have settled down and you are pursuing a line. So these are things that happen in life. I was doing this so that we can bring the perspective of them, where you are, what should be happening. So, and because you are now on regulation, then you are going to try to pursue that. So, you are perfectly normal if you are attracted, if you have interest, to know someone of the opposite sex. Then the writer continues, say, do not be surprised or it's not something to be ashamed of. Are people ashamed? Si watu wanakuwa ashamed. Ukipata hizo feelings, wako unataka uombe ziende. Kama sivyo, mwenyewe unafeel kama unakosea, unafeel kama unatenda dhambi. Kama ni mimi pekee nilikuwa kwa hiyo ni. Mimi nilikuwa pekee yangu. When I first of all started getting attracted to God, I was like, I have become a sinner. I have become a sinner. Na Mungu anirehemu. And you are like, this bad thought should go away. But because you have not been shown the right way. So it is perfectly normal. It is not something to be ashamed about. It is not something to even pray over. It is not something to feel bad about. Because you are normal. Now, if you are that age, and you have no interest in people of the opposite sex, we need to pray for you. Have you ever met those people? When they exist, they are 18, they are 20, they have no interest in them. They just look okay. The truth is that they are not okay. And one of the things that has done the greatest damage in these children are segregated. Boys wakae peke yao, girls wakae peke yao, si ndio? Kwanza inafanya watu like boys wanakuwa cowards. The boys become cowards. They start kujiweka vikundi za boys because they have not had chances of interacting. And you know these segregated schools, boarding schools, they come at the worst ages. Sasa unapelekwa boarding ukiwa 14. The age you should start getting interested in the other gender, sio? Na mnafukiwa kama wafungwa. Wanaume peke yake, wanawake peke yake. Sina hata hivyo. Na mnaambiwa boys should not be seen with girls should not be seen with boys. Then you realize our high schools have become breeding grounds for homosexuality. Because people have been put together at this age when their feelings are awakened and when they should be having interest in the other sex. So it becomes a problem. But ideally, it should be normal to feel attracted to the other person, and this should be now be guided so that he moves in the right way. So it is not something to be ashamed about, it is not something to be bad about, it is not something to apologize about, it is not something to pray over about. Just pray that you are directed in the right way. Amen? So, but then there are genuine friendships. Unakutana to discuss chemistry. Because nyinyi mko ya chemistry na biology. Kama sivyo, like the high schoolers. Ukiwa high school unakuwa attracted. Kama sivyo, you know now you have to respond so that I know I was in my wilder room. So how many received? Okay, in our days it was the days of the balloon. How many received the letters? And you're so happy when you receive a letter, isn't it? With the genuine SMS, right? When you receive an SMS, you are so happy, isn't it? You feel that when you receive the letter, as boys were not told. So, ukipata barua in our days, you feel so good. And then unaingia boys. You know what we used to do? We go to the it's open at the whole class. But we have And you know the boys are interested in reading, right? And you're also interested because you want also to show usinionage hivi hata mimi niko na mtu nyuma yangu. Unapeana inasoma kutoka pale mbele inasoma mpaka mwisho. Ndio mwisho anasoma na you know everyone is like you made it. You have kwanza kweli wa kutoka hizi shule kubwa kubwa. Then you are in Kabumo, so kama ametoka Bishop Timu, you know, those big names, you also want to show, not just a girl from a big school. But you feel good. It's normal, it's okay, right? But then, the thing we are saying is, at that age, it is not an age to specialize in anyone. You get my point? Even those letters, most of the people, they got misread. Because now you feel you want to own the person, and yet you have not come to that. Other people, they got excited from especially the girls, they were really affected. Is it true? You know the boys, mambo yao yanakuanga kwa kichwa. The girls, mambo yao yanakuanga kwa moyo. Kama sivyo, I have heard that boys, they love with their heads, girls, they love with their hearts. I think it is true. That's why the boys, you look at the boys, they can change their mind in a minute. They have no apology and they have no feeling of wrath. Isn't it? But for the girl, it is such a loss, isn't it? So, at around teenage, hii si miaka ya kuspecialize, na hii si miaka ya kusema so and so is my girlfriend, and so is my boyfriend. Si miaka ya kuspecialize. If you do it, it may mess up your life, isn't it? Because your direction, where you are going, it will be distract. It will create a blockage. You will be distracted. But it is an age to enjoy friendship genuine. So kama mko hapo, you go visiting the other family. Hata you are not visiting anyone in particular. Mnasema tunaenda kuvisit kwa kina Joshua. Tunajua kwa kina Joshua ni masiba peke yake. You know Joshua will be there, Caleb will be there. But we are not saying, I'm not saying I'm visiting anyone of them, but I just want to be around where they are. You get it? If it's that Joshua, they can say to end up visit kule kwa Brother East. They know kwa Brother East kuna some ladies there, isn't it? They are not even going to visit any ladies like that. But they just want to be around where the ladies are. Will it feel good? Yes. Because it is a desire in a human being that is being made. You get it? But you are not specializing to say so and so is mine. Wakifika huko, wana discuss mambo ya chemistry na mathematics. Sidio? Hawezi kudiscuss ati yenye sasa wanaweza kuwa na unafiki wa wale. Kama si hivyo, it is just mathematics and chemistry. Will it be fun? Yes, it will be such a fun. Hata mtu alikuwa anaanguka chemistry anaweza sasa amuka. Sisi kama unajua hivyo. Kama huko unashika ya mwalimu chemistry, and maybe this mwalimu is a gentleman. And you are a gentleman also. Now you come and you are taught by this system mathematics, chemistry, anakuambia sasa oxygen ongeza hii inakuwa this one. You know they are double chemistry now. Kuna ile chemistry ingine na kuna hii. Zikishikana utashika. You get my point? So you are talk. What you are talking about, the things you are doing. You are not talking about life issues at all. This is the thing. You are not talking about relationships in another way. You are not even mentioning. You are not even talking about those words of girlfriend or boyfriend. We are here to discuss chemistry, to discuss mathematics, how your school is doing, how our school is doing. You know, exchanging those things. Mnasema shule yetu hata imenunua basi mpya, na hii basi ni ya 64, na hata ni Scania. No, you want to brag a bit. Na yeye anasema yao wako na the old bus. Zile zilikuwa make gani? Hizo. So you are having fellowship, but it is fellowship that is not narrowed down to one person. You get my point? Now, as you move up, now you can start narrowing your fellowship. Last time we were here, what happened to some of our friends? So when we were at schooling, some people were specialized. Wana specialize who brother, ana specialize na who sister, sindio? Na hata mnatuonyesha. And some of us, we were feeling very bad because we were not lucky. We were not lucky because we never got boyfriends and girlfriends. But some people, you know that you could. By the time we were in high school, they started. And it was a mistake. It was a mistake. Because at that age, you are not ready for marriage. You don't even know what the future holds. You don't even know the other person. You are not even bothered. So what happened? Like I told you last time, tulianza kugrupu watu. Sio? Tunaanza kusema huyu anaitwa Bartholomew na yeye wa Alice. Sio? So ukiona Bartholomew unasema yule wa Alice. Hata by the way mpaka today hiyo ni stick. Sasa hata kama aliolewa na someone else, it remains ni Alice. Ukitaka ajulikane haraka, sio? Na Alice anajulikana na so. Ili tu Karaja wameshikana na Waithera, sio? Tunajua huyu Waithera wa Karaja, na Karaja ni wa Waithera. Na ni high schoolers. What happened later in the life? They come to realize we are not meant to be one. Unajua ukifika maturity now, unaangalia mambo kirahisi. Ama sivyo? So how many of us wanted to be doctors? Na huko chini, hizi maenji, how many of us wanted to be doctors? Sasa huwezi kuwa honest. How many of us wanted to be pilots? And you are saying it confidently, we want to be pilots, sio? Cha kwanza unapigwa na kutwa ya klasi. Unakuja unamaliziwa na bomu ya bombo. Hiyo story ndio watu tunaongea. Hiyo story ya kuwa pilot tunaongea na watu. Get the point. But what happened? You came from a pilot, you came down. Unajua unakuja to reality of things. Unakuja to the reality of things. Finally unasema, me I want to be a plumber. You are coming to reality of things. So, the same way with relating. Ukiwa huko chini, huko high school, hata unaweza ona kama Muislamu uone, msichana mzuri. Because you have not come to reality of things. You have not come. You don't even know you yourself, you don't know yourself. Because you have not even become. You are transitioning. You have not become the person you are. You have not become what you should become. You are also transitioning. So you don't know who you are. You don't know the other person. You don't know even where you can fit. So what happens? When you know yourself, you become yourself now. The person the person become, you now realize this is not the person meant for me. Then mnaachana. Mkiachana na mlikuwa already mmekuwa group. Hiyo tag haiendekani. Sio? Hiyo tag haiendangi. So at teenage, have general friendships. Be a friend to everyone. Don't see someone else out there. Because we see the only reason you are seeing someone out is for the reason of marriage. Sio? Sasa ukiwa na teenage, uko ready to be married or to marry. Kuna mtu anaweza sema confidently teenager ako ready? Hakuna, sio? You can only be prepared, doing the things you should be doing at that age, but you cannot talk of marriage then. You cannot talk of having a girlfriend you see out there. You cannot have a boyfriend you are specializing on. If you have, you are wrong. Get my point? Because that should now come much later. So that's why then from the notes. So that time you are then ready. And if you go down the notes where it says who is ready for marriage, for courtship, go down there. Now this writer says, teenagers in school will be too young to start dating and courtship. Is it an amen? Hence, someone in his or her mid-teens who start dating would have to expect a long courtship of a decade or more. Decade is 10 years, isn't it? Or more, which may not be healthy. Be patient and wait for the seasons for life to naturally develop as God intends them to be. Now, kujipea hii long friendship, mambo inaweza haribika, si ndio? So you should be that the age you are in dictates the kind of relationships you should have. If you are in teenage, it's just a general friendship to discuss schooling and other related matters. But as you advance on, then you are ready for a commitment, and then there is the person then who can get into courtship. And remember, we also see this being a responsibility, you have to weigh yourself to see whether you are ready to take the responsibility you are about to get yourself into. So let's then go to the notes for today. The notes for today. Back to where we were. So we talked then of from today, as we get now to the notes of today. Hapa ndipo tulikuwa tumefika, si ndio? Can we refresh our memories where we had come from? Go up a bit. And also for the people who came a bit late. So we were talking about, so then, for this person then who is ready to go into marriage, is the person who is able to go into courtship. Now, let's go to the message, just to read from the message, so that we also bring people to power what we are talking about. Go to this message on 62. 62:121E. 62:121E. Go to paragraph 21. Unajua kuna messages zenye kama unasema seriously that you are ready for these matters, you should have read, sio? Saka wewe unasema you are ready for courtship and you have never read such a message, the marriage of the Lamb, the choosing of a bride, marriage and divorce, the invisible union. Unaweza kuwa hauko serious kabisa, sio? There are some of the messages you should read in preparation, sio? Kama hii moja, the marriage of the Lamb, you should have read mpaka unasoma na kalamu na underline where the key points are, sio? Na unaanza kuzipost pale kwa status. Kimaliza hiyo unachukua ile the choosing of a bride. Nayo unaenda ukiunderline the key points, sio? Mpaka unazimemorize. Ukimaliza hiyo unachukua the invisible union. Pia na yenyewe unaipitia na unaimemorize. Na unamalizia sasa na marriage. Sasa you are getting somewhere, my brother. Sasa kama hujaisoma hata moja, Wewe ni mtu wa kuhurumiwa. So the prophet here says that now marriage in one sense is a type. The other marriage here is a type of the heavenly marriage. Now let's go over it just for a few moments to rehearse it. Now the first thing there must be a decision made. First thing, takes in natural marriage is a decision has to be made. The young lady has to make her decision whether she wants this young man, and the young man whether he wants the young woman. There has to be a decision made, and you have to make it. Amen? We are on point number 1. She must be the only woman in the world that you love, and he must be the only man. If it isn't, then you made the wrong decision. Point number 1 is decision making. Decision making, as you find, it is the same as courtship. Number 2, if you go to 84, then the prophet there says, then after the decision is made that you are, then comes the engagement that you find at the altar. You've got to make an engagement before this union can be. So we move from courtship or decision making to engagement. So engagement is the second one, and they follow each other like that. You've got to make an engagement before this union can be. And that's the way it is with Christ and the church. The number 3, if you go to 85, then the prophet says the next thing is promises made. There has to be promises made to one another. Like you make that promise, sweetheart, if you marry me, I promise that I will be loyal and true. I will look upon no other woman, or I look upon no other man. I'll do all that as a duty as a wife. We have children, I'll do all as a duty as a mother. I'll be a housekeeper. You make all those promises. All these promises have got to be made or should be in the correct wedding. Then 95, jump all the way to 95. Then after that, and then the ceremony. And that's when the bride takes the bridegroom's name. She is no more then of her own name, she takes the bridegroom's name. The ceremony is the last one where the two are joined together. Go to 62, 09M, paragraph 35, 62, 09M, and we go to 35, 65, 09M to 35. The Bible says in there, presence of 2 or 3 witnesses, let every word be established, isn't it? On this message, then the prophet says, we take for instance the marriage for the union. We find out that the marriage, we find the courtship. Number 1 is courtship, isn't it? And then agreements. After courtship, it is agreements, and then the marriage. So here it's like the prophet has brought together engagement and promises into one, right? Remember the other one, it was 4 steps. Here like the prophet has combined the 2 steps of engagement and promises. Because basically you promise as you engage, isn't it? So there is the courtship, the agreements, and then the marriage ceremony. That should be settled for all the time. Now that's the same thing it is with Christ and the church. See, a courtship, God calling to our hearts. We surrender the engagement, and then the marriage ceremony, where we are joined with him, isn't it? And the bride takes the bridegroom's name. So those are the stages there that a proper marriage would have to go through. It starts with courtship, and then goes to engagement, and then goes to the marriage ceremony. Now, those ones should follow each other like that. Kuna some people wanakuanga very cunning, especially the people of my gender. The people of my gender wanakuja wanataka kuanza na engagement because they know it is the vow that marries, isn't it? That when you promise a person you marry him, you are as good as married, isn't it? What marries us is our vows, your vow to that person. So there are people who become cunning then because they know that they come and they start with the engagement first. Wanakwambia, I want you to commit yourself whether you are going to get married to me or not. Hii sister sema hii maneno hakuna haja ya kuistiana time, sio? Hakuna haja ya kuistiana time. Wewe sema ndio. Sema I don't know whether I know as a lady you have to be very careful. Sio? Your word is what will marry you. You get the point? If the promise you take to that, you give to that person, of course it has to be on good faith. But then your promise to the person is what marries you. Now, if a person comes na anataka kukuambia kwanza tuengage alafu ndio tuende koti, sio? Juu hakuna haja ya kusikiana time. Wewe sema kama unanikubali ama hunikubali. Kama unikubali tusonge. Kama unanikubali then tupange hii mpango. The three steps should follow each other as they are. You get? You quote a person. We say, what is the importance of courtship? Is to know the other person and to know if it is the will of God for the two of you to be joined together. Now, can you be joined together? And then you go seeking whether it is the will of God for you to be joined when you are already joined. You get my point? So you cannot go to engagement because engagement is the joining. And then you pray backwards now, you want to see. And this is where most of the marriages that some of the people